I've tried a whole lot of blue highlighters, and we are going to swatch and try on every single one today. This is a very similar video concept to the different color gloss series that I was doing. And I thought this one would be particularly fun because it is winter, it's cold a lot of places. So there's something about this time of the year in general that makes me really want to go for a blue highlight. If you are curious about where to find these, I'm going to have them linked in the description box, and if I have a savings affiliate code, I will have those listed as well. Let's go ahead and get into it. First, we have Lunaris from Rituel de Fille. I have talked about this highlighter several times this year. It's a rare light cream luminizer, so it's a cream highlight that doesn't have any sparkle. This particular shade has a really cool kind of blue-purple shift. Definitely one of the more colorful and unique shades in the line, but they have a beautiful range. All right, let's go ahead and put some of these highlighters on. We're going to start off with Lunaris, and this is from Rituel de Fille. It's the Rare Light Cream Luminizer formula, which is basically a cream highlight without sparkle. They come in some beautiful, colorful shades and some more neutral shades as well. So, really love these for day-to-day, even the kind of more colorful shades. But this has a beautiful kind of blue-purple shift to it. And you can layer it up for a bit more intensity if you'd like. Y'all have heard me talk about this formula at length because it really has become one of my favorites, and it lasts really beautifully on the skin. Fun fact about this shade, it actually came back with the archive event. I don't know if it's going to be permanent, but it's been back ever since, so I'm really hoping that it will be. But in case you're curious, yes, it is currently in stock. This year, Beaute came out with a few new highlighters in this little stick format, and this is a cream formula, and it gives a sheer wash of sparkle. This is the shade Fembot, and it is available individually. And in this shade, you get silver, blue, and purple sparkle. All right, next, we have the Fembot highlighter from Beaute. This is basically a sheer wash of blue sparkle, but I don't find that it's overly sparkly. I do find that it's fairly day-to-day friendly. I absolutely loved the Fembot capsule, and I think it did really well for the brand. So I'm really hoping that they'll do more collections like that next year. I just think that capsule collections are a really kind of good way to go. They're not too much. And, Fembot is a shade that is beloved to the brand, although I don't love the liquid shadow formula. But here is what the shade Fembot looks like fully applied. You can see that it's subtle, but it gives you kind of just a beautiful blue sparkle. Next, we have the Shapeshifter palette from Glisten Cosmetics. Glisten Cosmetics is UK based, but they do have some other retailers as well in other countries. And I'm really excited about this palette because, as you can see, this is quite intense and the texture of it is smooth. So I think it's going to work well on different areas of the face, including the eyes and the cheeks. Next, we have the Shapeshifter palette from Glisten. This is new to my collection as of a few months ago, and I am excited to play around with it more. These are smooth iridescents, but they're pretty intense, which makes them great multi-use products. Here's what the shade Bewitch looks like swatched on my fingertip. That's the blue shade in the palette. I'm just going to use it. I know it's going to be intense, and I have to go light-handed, but really like that this is pretty smooth on the skin. And some people have told me that this palette actually reminds them of the OG Alchemy palette from KVD, which was an iridescent palette from quite some time ago that I believe you can't get anymore. Ooh, really love using this on the face. Totally gonna be using this palette more as face highlighters. Here is what it looks like fully applied. Next, we have the Moon Cruiser highlight from Cloudicos. This is one of the OG blue highlighters in my collection. It's been out for quite some time now. in my opinion, the colorful highlights from Cloudicos definitely are worth the hype. They're intense, they're blinding, and they have cool shifts, and for the time, they were very, very unique to the market. All right, and I couldn't make a video on blue highlighters and not swatch and try on Moon Cruiser from Cloudicos. By the way, so excited that Cloudicos is back with a new collection, but this line of highlighters from Cloudicos is also very iconic, and they just have a beautiful range of duochrome and multichrome highlights. But when I think of blue highlighters, this one is always one that crosses my mind. The texture of these is smooth, or this shade, they're not all smooth, but this one is quite smooth. It's a little bit sparkly, but it makes a beautiful, intense face highlight. Here is what the shade Moon Cruiser looks like fully applied. All right, now we have a highlighter from Black Moon Cosmetics. This is called Jellyfish. Their whole line of highlighters are called Moonlighters, and they are unique because I haven't found too many powder highlights that are colorful and yet very, very smooth. So if you prefer powder highlights and you want something smooth and without sparkle, the ones from Black Moon are definitely ones that you want to check out. All right, next we have the Moonlighter from Black Moon Cosmetics, and this is the shade Jellyfish. This is a unique formula because it's powder, but it's very smooth, and I don't really know of another brand that does incredibly smooth, colorful highlights. This is the brand that I think of. Here is what it looks like swatched in the back of my hand. Let's go ahead and apply it. So if you're looking for a brand that does colorful powder highlights that are smooth, Black Moon Cosmetics is definitely a brand to look at. Here's what it looks like fully applied. They're an indie brand that's based out of LA, and they're really, really known for their really unique shades of lipsticks. All right, we have a highlighter you've heard me talk about so many times. This is Drop from Diveroon. It's the most intense highlight in my collection. It has a pale chartreuse base and a very strong blue-purple shift. The texture on this shade is extremely smooth, and I have heard that the pigment is hard to come by. And as you can see, you do have some sparkle in this one. All right, next we have Drop from Diveroon. Y'all have heard me talk about this highlighter so many times, but you know I love it. It's the most intense highlight in my collection, and it has a really strong blue-purple shift. So of course, I had to try it on for this video if we're trying to do a fairly comprehensive blue highlight video. Never gets old. And in general, love the highlighters from Diveroon for intense, blinding highlights. Next we have a highlighter from Girl Cult, and Girl Cult is a really unique C Beauty brand. This is a highlight that came out in one of their more recent collections. It is cream, and it's got a pretty multicolored sparkle in it, including silver, a little bit of red, and blue. All right, now we have a highlighter from Girl Cult. This came out in one of their more recent collections. It's the shade B04, and in my opinion, this is one of the coolest highlighters that they've come out with, period. Some of them have been kind of too light for me. This one is a cream formula, and it has a multicolored sparkle. It has blue and silver and just a hint of red in there too. And it just makes the skin have a sort of wet effect. I included it in the blue highlight because it has that blue sparkle in it as well. Although this one, you know, could be included in some other categories as well. But here is what it looks like fully applied. So this is another example of a highlight that even though it has sparkle in it, it doesn't look like too much. It sort of just gives the skin a bit of a wet effect. From Wet n Wild, we have the shade Venus Swing. This came out in the spring as part of their kind of capsule chrome collection. This formula is quite intense and quite sparkly. We have Venus Swing from Wet n Wild. This collection from them really stole my heart because it, included several really fun duochrome products for a very affordable price point. They also had a green highlighter as well. These ones are glittery, so actually, day to day, like using them more as eyeshadow and inner corner highlight, but really beautiful, intense, blinding highlights. And available for, I want to say, under $10. So here is what the shade Venus Swing looks like fully applied. All right, now we have a cream highlight from a brand called Ortega, and this brand actually came to Sephora somewhat recently. And in this one, you get blue, purple, and silver sparkles. All right, next we have the shade Ice Queen from Ortega. I believe that this brand is now available at Sephora. I just thought that these were aesthetically really cool. This is a cream highlight. It is sparkly, and unlike the one from Girl Cult, the sparkle is a little bit, larger and more obvious, but it has a blue and silver sparkle in it. And I haven't seen that they've come out with anything recently, so I hope we do see more products because they seem like a sort of cool brand. Here is what the shade Ice Queen looks like fully applied. And here is what swatches of all of the shades we just talked about and tried on look like swatched my arm. All of the labels are from the wrist down. Let's go ahead and get into the second set. We have the Orbit palette from Naba Cosmetics, and Naba is a brand that delivers a lot of fun products at a fairly affordable price point. In general, I do think iridescent palettes are nice because you get quite a few shades, and a lot of the shades can be used in a wide variety of ways, either on the eyes or on the face. And as you can see, there are some different finishes for the shades in this palette. All right, next we have the Orbit palette from Naba Cosmetics. I've talked about Naba on my channel a few times because they have fun makeup products at a pretty affordable price point. They often have sales going on their site. This is a 9-pan iridescent palette that can be used on the eyes, it can be used on the face, and they have a couple of blue iridescents in here. The one that I'm going to use as a face highlight is the one that's a little bit smoother. This is not as intense as the one that's in the Glisten palette, but texture-wise does feel somewhat similar. But there is a shade in here that's also blue, but it's a little bit more glittery. Here is what it looks like fully applied. But yeah, if you're looking for fun makeup and on a bit more of a budget, I definitely do recommend checking out Naba. Next, we have the Dark Dreamscape highlight from Bella Beaute Bar, and Bella Beaute Bar is an indie brand. They are particularly known for their eyeshadow palettes, but they've come out with several really cool highlights. This is probably one of my favorite highlights that they've done. It's an intense blue purple. As you can see, it's blinding and it is quite sparkly as well. Now we have the Dark Dreamscape highlight from Bella Beaute Bar. And this came out earlier this fall. I really enjoy the Dark Dreamscape collection in general. And this is a very intense blue-purple highlight. It actually does remind me a little bit of the highlight from Diveroon, the drop highlight. But I think the texture from Diveroon one is a bit smoother. And I do think that the Diveroon one also a bit more intense, but this one is very intense as well. So if you are looking for intense, blinding blue-purple highlight, this is another really great option. From Cosmic Beauty, we have the Astral Radiance palette. Cosmic Beauty is a UK-based indie brand, and they are also very known for their eyeshadow palettes. They do have a couple of highlight palettes as well, and this one came out recently with their Starlight Society palette. And in my opinion, these palettes definitely shouldn't be slept on because I love that you get a variety of shades for a pretty affordable price point. Next, we have the Astral Radiance palette from Cosmic Beauty. At this time, this palette isn't available individually. I think it's in the bundle with the Starlight Society palette, but I do think that there will be a time when this can be purchased individually. So I want to try on the blue shade in here because this highlight palette is really fun, and it also has some a variety of textures. The blue one in particular is quite smooth, but it's still very intense. So definitely another shade that I think is very user-friendly as a highlight. Here is what that shade looks like fully applied. So yeah, I really hope this becomes available individually soon. And also Cosmic Beauty in general I find to be pretty fair with the prices. The only thing is, of course, shipping can end up being a little bit pricey. Next, we have the Efflorescence palette, which is a collab palette between Microsoft and Blend Bunny. This collection also included a matte eyeshadow palette and a really pretty blue sparkly lip oil. This palette has 6 shades. You can actually remove these with a magnet and mix and match them into your other Blend Bunny palettes, and really like that in this shade you get a blue iridescent and you also get a teal iridescent. I can really tell that May must love blue as much as I do. Next, we have the Blend Bunny and Microsoft palette. This is Efflorescence, and it was part of the Rotten collaboration. I, in general, just think that collection is really well done, and this iridescent palette is also quite reasonable, in my opinion. It's around the $30 price point, and you can use, I think they have some affiliate codes. I don't have one, but there are 2 kind of blue leaning shades in here. There's like more of a true blue and then one that's a teal. And I've really been enjoying the iridescent formula from Blend Bunny in general. And then, you know, I've seen that Microsoft uses these all over the face, on the eyes, but also as face highlights, as very intense face highlights. And this is the shade Loom, by the way. So here is what Loom looks like fully applied. From Beauty Creations, we have the single shadow in the shade UFO, and these are the Writing Solo single shadows. They come in these beautiful kind of clear plastic compacts. Beauty Creations is an affordable brand that comes out with some very high quality products. Next, we have one of the Writing Solo single shadows from Beauty Creations. I've talked about these singles several times on my page, especially when I do my dupe videos, like affordable dupes for more high-end products. And they actually came out with a whole bunch of new shades. This is not a new shade, but these are so nice, and they definitely feel much more high-end than the price would suggest. But this is what the shade UFO looks like swatched on my fingertip. I will be doing a video on some of those new shades because I am just so excited that they came out with a whole collection of Writing Solo single shadows. But this is so beautiful, and I believe these are $5 or $6, but they come in this really cute little magnetic packaging too. Just love the presentation of these and the performance of these. All right, I've got another highlighter from Diveroon. This came out pretty recently, and it's called Ghost Orchid. It is a split pan highlighter. Half of the pan is an iridescent that has multicolored sparkles, and those sparkles include blue, purple, and a sort of pinkish red. I've got 3 shades to go. We're getting there. Next, we are going to talk about the highlighter from Diveroon. This is another highlighter that they came out recently, and this is Ghost Orchid. And in particular, I'm going to talk about the half of the pan that's a blue purple. It's a little bit chunkier in texture, but again, I really love the highlighters from Diveroon for a blinding highlight. They just never disappoint. And in this, I love also that you get 2 shades in case you want to mix them or just get to experience 2 shades in one product. So here is what that shade looks like fully applied. Now we have a shade from Sheen Effect. Sheen Effect is a brand that I've really come to know and love over the past couple of years, especially their single shadows. I know they have other products as well, but
These are what I've tried from them, and I really love them also because they have quite a smooth texture and they're very, very intense.
Next we have Dream Shadow from Sheen Effect, and this is another brand that I've talked about several times. I think that these eyeshadows really work really great as highlighters because they have quite a smooth texture to them, and their iridescents are so pretty, blinding, just fun to use. Just look at that. If you're able to try Sheen Effect, it's definitely a brand I recommend. Now the texture of some of the shades is a little bit emollient, so just something to keep in mind, but one of the reasons why I love their shadows in general is because they make great multi-use products.
All right, last but not least, we have a Super Shock shadow from ColourPop, and actually this is a brand new shade. It's called Bobaholic. It's from their new Super Shock Trios. It's a light and ethereal blue-brown duochrome, and I just had this feeling that it would also make for a really pretty highlighter.
Last shade we have is from ColourPop. This is actually a shade I talked about in a recent video because it's one of their new Super Shock shadows, and this is the shade Bobaholic. And I just had a feeling that this would make a really pretty face highlight, so I wanted to try it for this video in case that, you know, you actually have this shade. You might be inspired to try it as a highlight as well. Oh, that is so pretty, especially because it has that brown base like on me and my skin tone. I think it works really, really well as a face highlighter. I'm glad I tried that out because also these have quite a smooth texture to them. Here's what the shade Bobaholic looks like fully applied.
And here are some overhead arm swatches of the second set of blue highlights that we swatched and tried on.
We're done. I think we've tried on 17 blue highlighters, so I really hope that you enjoyed seeing all of these. I love doing videos like these. Actually, the last time that I've done a video like this is when I was doing my color gloss series, and I don't know if I'll do it for all the highlight shades, but I was very inspired because it's winter, it's, you know, frosty blue season. And not that you need a season for wearing blue, but I do have fun getting into the season a little bit. Let me know if you've tried any of these highlighters, if you really enjoy blue highlighter, and I really hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.